This video is intended to describe two devices, both named WindKeeper, to be of the same exact archetypal structure in both Talisman and Powerpack format. I will start with the main Talisman, which will take a while to describe in its own right, as well as I drafted some horrific Chakric stick figure visual guides to explain the concept of two of these devices working in tandem in both a daughter's and father's field for a combined synergistic energetic combination as a timeline alteration shift or etheric retemplating, or put in simple terms, a energetic shift on both the daughter and father configuration based on these two devices going to two recipients in the same bloodline to make an etheric shift of both auras, generating vibrational compound interest for a more effective compatible shift. And this horrific little stick figure right here will be the more specific chakra stimulation cue for this video on this little laboratory tour to describe the mechanisms and intentions of both of these crystalline ignition orders. So I will go ahead and start with the main talisman named WindKeeper. WindKeeper's primary blade band consists of Seraphinite, which is a green ray seraphim energizer, which has a dramatically healing signature through the entire chakra column. It is perhaps the most effective vibration in its own right to dispel the patterns that manifest as dis-ease on the emotional, mental, body spectrum fields that can interfere with a auric field's proper flow, manifesting as dis-ease of different variations, like I said, mentally, physically, and spiritually, and triangulating into manifestation physically. So Seraphinite has a lovely green ray concentration, which actually activates the entire I am calm chord, and has a very strong imbuement of seraphic seraphim archangel energy through the entire cellular pattern through the respiratory system of cellular processing. In tandem with tourmalated quartz like so right here, this is actually clear quartz, which works to accelerate and neutralize the current of this primary blade band, and the tourmaline works as a dramatic purification intensified with the quartz in the same circuit as the seraphinite. So black tourmaline is very powerful for transmitting negativity of any kind of stored negative energy in the field into the earth meridian matrix for reprocessing. So all the excess negativity can actually safe discharge out of the system so it no longer sticks inside the auric field, manifesting as physical dis-ease. Continuing like so, around this primary blade band, going into the transmutation blade band ratio consisting of smoky quartz and hematite. This ignition sequence, both in tandem, going like so all the way across here, up the side, to this lateral band, then completing the circuit back down to here, has a very powerful grounding of negative energy, hence it's the transmutation blade ratio to transmute negativity into positivity. The hematite has a strong draw iron base, which actually grounds all excess radial energy through the base chakra, into the earth star meridians, into the earth meridian matrix for reprocessing. In tandem, smoky quartz purifies the entire auric field, energy centers, like an energetic composting, if you would, to pull all densities through the body into the earth meridians for processing so that these densities do not stick to the field. So in combination, the two of those igniting in a closed-loop circuit like so makes a very dramatic etheric Teflon internal-external negativity purification by giving all this high-frequency energy a safe ground point for a more effective etheric shift, which manifests as a more desirable, higher, freer flow of energy. So you can think of it also as malware being discharged from the operating system, for computer terms, that would actually impede the natural flow of a healthy, balanced aura, aka manifestation of a healthy body. Continuing up here to this apex band, where the necklace of the talisman actually will hang in right here, is clear quartz and amethyst. Clear quartz works as a very nice neutral programmable energy carrier, as well as the amethyst being a lovely crown chakra activation frequency, which of course opens to higher energies of transmutation that will be successfully grounded through this transmutation ratio, recirculating like so, through the seraphinite, the tourmalated quartz, running a centripetal circuit. So that's just the blade band you described. On the blade face itself, the very tip right here, is something called fulgurite, which is petrified lightning. First Nation indigenous tribes would utilize this to intensify prayers for the people back in the day. So this concept actually captures lightning struck in sand. So it contains that lightning energy, that's very powerful frequency to be utilized in stone and a closed loop circuit to illuminate the entire energy field of any kind of densities. So it actually gives a lot of physical energy and pranic activation to the entire field, as well as intensification of prayers. This was the First Nation medicine man's utilization of this particularly, was to intensify one's prayer so that the prayers can be heard by the divine and spirit can be aligned through the prayer to spirit to manifest a healing for those under the charge or jurisdiction of the medicine man. Right here is a black obsidian arrowhead. Of course, based on the renditions, once again, of First Nation tradition of taking volcanic obsidian or volcanic glass that is a very powerful earth energy, black ray purification, which takes all negative energies and grounds it once again into the earth meridian matrix through processing so that no bad medicine or bad juju can stick to the field, to put it quite simply. So another aspect of etheric Teflon as a way to insulate and protect from negative vibes affecting physicality. In tandem with turquoise, the lovely blue ray stone of wholeness, an ancient grandfather alloy utilized by First Nation tribes at time memorial due to the power of it being a stone of wholeness. It takes the elemental spectrum of earth, fire, water, and wind of the directions and makes a focus at the fifth. So it's very much a stone of wholeness, harmony, and truth, and a very powerful healing stone for the entire spectrum of pranic energy to flow through the body in a very balanced way with the focus of the fifth chakra to one's truth. Once again over here, this is seraphinite on a bigger format of a cut slab to honor a more heavy concentration of the main primary ignition blade band, which is the most powerful dis-ease pattern reestablisher, basically to abolish and dismantle those codes of dis-ease mentally, physically, and spiritually that can manifest as any kind of ailments. So that's just a heavier concentration of that green ray focus of this device of an extremely healing energy potency, with once again turquoise over here to have once again another focus of the fifth chakra of the truth. In tandem with Libyan gold tektite, which is a very powerful ancient Egyptian utilized frequency stone used in the pharaohic breastplates of old to actually have a version of this yellow stone carved in a scarab beetle, like so, that would actually be used to energize and charge their entire magical breastplates the pharaohs would wear. So a very powerful sacrum and solar plexus activation stone that dramatically purifies and strengthens and intensifies the sacrum, which is a receptive chakra that can actually take imprintations from negative experiences and get really bogged down, which in turn slows down the entire operating system, which is a contributing factor to the body getting weaker and more susceptible to disease. In tandem right here is moldavite, a lovely green ray stone known as the stone of the Holy Grail, which is a green ray cousin to the gold stone previously mentioned that has a very powerful source resonant activation, the connection to creator or spirit, in a very powerful way. So also a stone of good luck and synchronicity and divine alignment in a lot of capacities. This right here is infinitite. Infinitite is a very, very special variety of serpentine that has a very lovely seraphic energy as well, just like the seraphinite of the archangel spectrum, but also works to clear the entire chakra column of any kind of densities that have bogged down and recrystallizes the entire structure to its ideal configuration, aka healthy body, healthy energy. And so the concept here too is that it takes the entire energy centers and makes a kundalini surge that will purify the entire chakra column, and any kind of stuck patterns that are impeding the flow will be decrystallized and repatterned to the optimal wholeness. So obviously in all these frequencies in one closed loop circuit, they all play off each other as a closed loop emanation, so it makes a vibratory ignition sequence that is very harmonious for the entire field. That is the intended design of this crystalline ignition device. And down over here, this is selenite. These white stones on the side of this oak core, I utilize the oak wood to be a dense atomical structure for the platform of this seraphic device named WindKeeper. And so the selenite right here by itself makes a lovely purification of density through the entire auric field, as well as a 6th, 7th higher chakra activation to one's higher spiritual self. And in tandem, we'll take this entire frequency pitch running through this closed loop circuit, make an amplification, purification, and harmonization of this entire vibratory platform. Hence, it's a very critical component to this device for its effectivity for a vibrational shift or a healthy energy patterns emanated. So it's like a flash drive. You can imagine that. This entire concept is like a healthy energy flash drive that could be uploaded to the operating system of the auric field, much like a flash drive to a computer, to put things in more pragmatic simplicity. And right here next to the selenite is the 4 spectrums of kyanite, of black, orange, green, and blue kyanite, which kyanites are very powerful for rapidly transferring energies through one person to another, to a space, a place, and a being, for example, and very reactive energy pattern, quite complicated to really explain in great detail. But in summary, it works as another layer of etheric insulation or even energetic Teflon that will make the energy patterns rapidly transfer the energy into the earth, into spirit, to Mother Earth, Father Sky, and make a very rapid transfer of prayers, and further stitch past any kind of broken gaps in the record playing out of the avatar of the wielder of this device, so that new patterns be reestablished very quickly with optimized healing. That is the intentional configuration of the kyanites, to also make it very energy reactive, that is very appropriate in balance to the wielder's needs for their path of their journey on the road. That basically describes just this section. This section actually will be the hood that will have leather installed on top of this, buckskin, to have a very First Nation theme actually, because you could, as it be pretty obvious with the arrowhead and the turquoise, gives it a strong First Nation connotation. So this will have buckskin installed, but underneath buckskin is red jasper to stabilize the base chakra, ruby and zoisite. Ruby stimulates the base chakra also in tandem with red jasper quite nicely, a very enthusiastic frequency of heightened passion, in tandem with zoisite, which dramatically activates the heart-mind coherence. So you have the trifecta of the base activation and the heart-mind coherence, which is a strong pattern for the true self manifesting forward of one's spiritual nature. Back to factory etheric blueprint settings, if you would, or the idealized energy centers of a healthy human avatar. This right here is Tibetan black quartz, a very lovely carbon inclusion stone that comes from Tibet, that's very healing and very purifying for the entire chakra column from top to bottom, and is very powerful purifying any kind of negativities whatsoever that can manifest as ailments as well, in tandem with everything else in the same exact closed loop circuit ignition order. So that's another psychic protection purification stone that's just very, very good Om vibes that connects to the source of spirit. This right here is Tiger's Eye, which aligns and stabilizes the base, sacrum, and solar plexus, so one that has a very strong lower 3 fortification for lower chakras, which also is imperative for physical health. This right here is Star Argonite. Star Argonite is a calcium-based stone that's very powerful for light body activation. It clears any kind of dense patterns that can manifest as any kind of ailment as well. Hence, the utilization of the Argonite was essential to have a full decrystallization and clearing of any kind of energy patterns that are stuck, that are causing any kind of physical problem in this configuration. This right here is Blue Lace Agate, which is a water elemental stone that stabilizes the 5th chakra. This right here is Moss Green Agate, which is another water elemental stone that stabilizes the base and the heart, for a very smooth repatterning of one's true authentic factory settings, uncompromised by the drudges of life, which is part of being a pitiful two-legged human being, just about. So that helps kind of counter any kind of impartation damage to the heart that can manifest as ailments as well. And right here is Fire Agate. This is a fire elemental stone that stabilizes the base, sacrum, and solar plexus, and it carries the fire element in a very stabilized fashion. So that would also be very much the in-the-body experience, zest for life energy, and a very good antidepressant based on sheer enthusiastic energy configuration, which works lovely with the other agates and jaspers mentioned previously as a very stabilized spectrum of the elements. As the energy runs through its circuit, running through the circuit of the human field, it has a very stabilized output. Okay, this right here is jet. Jet is a black-gray carbon-based stone primarily famously used by druids of old to counter actually aspects of black magic or just heavy concentration negativity in general. And it's a very powerful charcoal filter purification. Once again, I'll say it thrice more in this video, I'm sure. Makes a very powerful black-gray bypass and purification of energy into the Earth Meridian matrix for reprocessing to purify one's energy field of any kind of negativity manifesting as a malady. This right here is shungite, which is actually another black-gray carbon-based stone, but more from this timeline. More like this is a new school in vogue frequency to be utilized opposed to an old school jet. Shungite is one of the powerful frequencies for actually mitigating subtle EMF damage that can cause cellular decay would be the best way to put it, from any kind of cell phone emanations and different 5G bandwidths that are not natural for the subtle DNA of the body. So this is a lovely stone that's in vogue for in this timeline to really mitigate, and once again, just like I'll keep saying, grounds the excess energy of the black ray to insulate the field, purify, and ground it into the earth for reprocessing. This guy right here is actually black tektite. Much like the moldavite and Libyan gold tektite discussed, it is a stone of extraterrestrial origin. It basically is also a meteorite obsidian. The impact of a oftentimes nickel iron meteorite that impacts the sand will carry that cosmic jolt into a glass. Just like obsidian, it's a glass that is from extreme heat. So by carrying that black ray cosmic jolt, it gives a whole light body activation from the earth up. From the feet, from the earth, and so it actually strengthens the entire chakra column from a black ray perspective. So the energy current from the ground up really is very well fortified with higher frequency extraterrestrial energy, to put it quite simply. This right here is sunstone. Sunstone's a lovely potassium feldspar based, mostly feldspar, orange ray stone. It has a strong summation to the sacrum and solar plexus to have a very enlightened masculine energy. It's also one of those stones of beneficent, beneficial, enlightened male energy, as well as a stone of great enthusiasm and joy, which is a nice spectrum to have imbued in the field to be another natural antidepressant, much like the fire elemental guy right here in a stabilized format. So very enlightened, masculine, fun energy, quite simply. This right here is the main engine. This would be a golden healer quartz, which is a very powerful frequency of the gold white light Christ frequency, source of creation, or the heart of spirit, if you would. That would make a very strong connection to the heart, to creator, in all aspects of Father Earth and Mother Sky, in tandem. So that is, in conclusion, the device of WindKeeper, which is designed to be a very healing pattern device that could be, like I mentioned earlier, a flash drive for the system that could really have a perpetual feeling of wholeness and the balance of the four elements and the four directions, for that matter. And a very healing frequency broadcast to engage into when the device is in play for the intended recipient of this frequency. And to further augment this platform for the father in this story being described, this right here is for the daughter. This is a very simple light blade power pack named WindKeeper as well. The idea right here of these two devices being developed in tandem to have a similar compatible frequency operating order is to develop, once again, like I mentioned, vibrational compound interest in a single DNA family line. A father and a daughter have the most intensely connected energies in just about all of creation, because that's a blood tie connection, and that's an ancestral connection. So that same DNA template of the father and the daughter are actually very compatible in this regard. So of course, by augmenting two different separate realities, really solution of separation between a daughter and a father combined, makes a stronger vibratory impact, temporal impact of a shift of energy for both the father and daughter separately and also in tandem in the unity sphere of basically utilizing this frequency broadband to perpetuate a more healed energy for the father and the daughter in tandem. So the main core of this little power pack that's designed to go in this little purple pouch right here, and also be very thin and can be actually placed inside the pouch inside a pocket of pants, for example, or even a purse if have you, is a very easy way to have this frequency vibration ingesting into the auric field of the daughter of this story in this device to have a very, passive, easy format way to keep this on the system without being too intrusive. Hence, the Powerpack inside the leather pouch that can be concealed in a pocket is rather advantageous as just a background frequency filter that does its frequency job while the wielder goes about their endeavors with minimal intrusive invasiveness by a small compact device. Clear quartz right here, of course, works the perfect neutral generator to build a platform around that carries a frequency much like the engine of this little device. And it's very programmable, so once this device goes into the custody of the recipient, it's actually very easy to charge in tension that will hold the frequency, then run the current through a typical band built around it. At the core, just like I described in the selenite right here, there is selenite with black and blue kyanite to, once again, purify, harmonize, amplify the entire construct, and then make the kyanites rapidly transfer these energies very rapidly through the operating system of the recipient of this device to make etheric shifts very rapidly transferred from concept into reality, bridged and grounded to make magic, basically, to make it real. And right here, once again, described over here is seraphinite. There's a larger chunk of seraphinite on this Powerpack to be, once again, another angelic wholeness, this dis-ease, banishing wholeness pattern that can be easily reestablished in the operating system to bring a whole healed energy field. Hence, the heavy concentration of seraphinite on this blade band around this little Powerpack is paramount as well. So by having the seraphinite in concentration here and here, they basically, and having the same name, they are compatible device frequencies for a single bloodline focus of a healed pattern for a father and a daughter in tandem. I cannot digress enough about the importance of this dual unification frequency through the same ancestral chakric DNA tie pattern to make a positive shift as effective as possible between two parties with one vibrational compound harmonized focus. So down here is infinitite, just like right here on this infinitite, which really makes a powerful repatterning and decrystallization of any kind of stagnant patterns that can cause dis-ease through the system while also stimulating the full light body kundalini activation, which is of course paramount for the full light body anchoring to the physical avatar without any kind of impediments, which means quite simply, in layman terms, health. So that's the 2 points of this little circuit. This, of course, is contained by a blade band that's mostly a transmutation blade band, like mentioned previously here, in tandem with the seraphinite. So once again, you have the seraphinite, hematite, and smoky quartz in the ignition sequence closing the circuit of this device. So that's the basic description of these exact devices in tandem. And in conclusion, when applied to the frequency of the father and applied to the frequency of the daughter, makes a closed-loop healing frequency broadcast of the single DNA template of the chakra connection between a father and daughter relationship, thereby making a more effective etheric shift on the chakra aspect of the family tree as a whole. I'll say it, I repeat myself sometimes in these videos to really make the points very obvious, to develop vibrational compound interest between the two active columns in one closed-loop circuit that is their family matrix to have the best effective aspect of the healing energy shifting in reality and downloading in the schematics of the daughter and father like two flash drive this computer, flash drive this computer for the full effective healing energy modality. I try my best, of course, to be very thorough in my explanation here because I feel this is quite important because this is rather far out for most people's perceptions of reality, and I accept and understand that. And so this was very, very important to actually write this concept out and put it on paper to have the most effective comprehension of describing this theoretical, as First Nations would put it, medicine, because this is what this is all about, is a medicine for the people, to kick it old school. Anyhow, well, that is the full description of WindKeeper in both, once again, Talisman and Powerpack format. I hope anybody watching this has a wonderful day, and may the force be with us all.